Hey gamers, today we will go through your suggestions for Lilith regarding Rise of Kingdoms. This project of mine started a few weeks back, but actually I had this in mind for a while, just trying to find the time and the right moment for this type of video. I wish this to be a sort of periodical community feedback for Rise of Kingdoms that could allow players to feel more connected to the developers. As of today though, I still have not received a definitive answer from the community managers on if they will take the time to respond to the most common issues that the community faces while playing Rise of Kingdoms. Anyway, the video is now up and I hope we will receive a response on the topics presented. Together with our friend Zeldris, who is also a member of the channel and without whom this video will not be possible, we compiled a list of topics that the community would like the developers to address. We checked and selected every single response to the Google form I asked you to fill out, so thanks to the people who took the time to do that. Every suggestion posted by you guys in the dedicated channel on our Discord. By the way, the link to join is in the description down below. And also, I reviewed some interesting comments that you guys left here and there under my videos, together with some private messages that you sent me. As you can imagine, this was quite a bit of material to go through. That's one of the reasons why lately I prefer to make less videos, but with a higher quality standard, and present the topics in the best way I am possibly capable of delivering. This, together with a general sense of unsatisfaction for the game that lately has been growing in my mind, led me to re-evaluate the type of content I want to present. No worries, I will still post all the important guides for you. In fact, remember to leave a like, subscribe and activate the bell for notification, because soon I will post the commander testing videos for Amanitor and Gilgamesh as soon as they will be released into the game. Now let's get into the topic, the community suggestions. Your suggestions. Let's go. I quickly want to underline that none of the suggestions have been conditioned by personal opinions. We limited ourselves to try and grab the concepts from the suggestions we received. We polished them, sure, we discarded every request that did not make sense or was utopic to ask, and for every suggestion we also compiled a list of possible solutions to make things better. Of course, there is some subjectivity in how we conducted this process, but if you know me by now, I always try to take in consideration the big picture of the player base, from the free-to-play players to the high spenders, and I do not want to leave anyone behind. Everyone is entitled to express his or her own opinions, and it is my personal duty to hopefully channel your concerns in a constructive way. The single most received suggestions, or complaint I should say, is in regard to some war mechanics. In the specific, the healing cost, the healing cap and the verification rewards. Everyone, from free-to-play to high spenders, think that the resources needed to heal the troops are way too many. You can literally farm for months and find yourself empty in one single day of heavy fighting. Let's analyze the problem closely. If you want to spend gems to purchase resources in the VIP shop, for example, for the same cost of 1 million food and 1 million wood, you will get 750,000 stone and just 400,000 gold. The same exact proportion is valid for the resource nodes present on the map. This effectively means that if you gather exclusively gold, you will gather 40 million gold in the same time you will gather 100 million food or wood. This without taking into account boosts, specific commanders, etc. Basically, you will gather 60% less gold and 25% less stone compared to other resources. As concerns the stone, well, if you finished upgrading the buildings in your city, that's not a problem. You will almost never suffer from lack of stone. I never gather stone and it's the most present resource in my city. As concerns gold, well, the speech is quite different here. Let's take a quick look at the basic resource cost to heal 50,000 tier 4 cavalry and 50,000 tier 5 cavalry. We go from a total of 10.9 million resources for the tier 4 troops to 36 million resources to heal the tier 5 troops. The cost will increase of 3.3 times, but in the specific, the cost in gold will be 20 times higher. 20 times. But if you take a look, the proportion does not even follow what you realistically can obtain in the game. In a large-scale fight, like a KvK, this is not sustainable. This issue leads to people having to buy resources from third parties, endangering their accounts and ruining their in-game experience. Because if one player purchases resources externally, all the others will somehow feel like they need to do the same to try and keep up with the game. This is not good for both the players and Lilith. Therefore, we can highlight 3 possible solutions or improvements for this problem. 1. Increase the amount of gold that can be gathered from a gold node, taking it to the same amount of a stone node. 2. Increase the gathering speed for gold, taking it to the same amount of the stone gathering speed. 3. Reduce the amount of resources and speed-ups necessary to heal tier 5 troops by a reasonable amount, for example 25%, especially in gold. The second suggestion is about the healing cap. Currently, we are limited to receiving 1000 helps per day, making it very difficult to benefit from the Alliance helps to heal small batches of troops without having to speed up our healing every single time. This in the past led to a big controversy among the Rise of Kingdoms community, which eventually brought no results, because they introduced the possibility to get extra helps after you reach the 1000 cap, but in reality that does not matter, because you can receive 1 help at a time after a random number of seconds, which will make the process extremely slow and force you to speed up your hospital anyway when you are fighting. Therefore, we gathered 4 viable and fair solutions and improvements. 1. Remove the healing cap during the Season of Conquest KvK. With the coalition system, reaching 30 helps is extremely easy and takes just a few seconds, and botting will be totally useless. 2. Increase the number of daily helps and the number of helps granted by the Alliance Center while in KvK, in order to allow players to heal bigger batches of troops. For example, increase the maximum helps when healing from 30 to 40 and increase the number of total helps you can get. This just for the healing, so it doesn't affect research or building. 3. Using different tools to verify that a player isn't actually a bot spamming helps and remove the healing cap. This will surely require more work. It is the hardest path to go for Lilith. It is easier said than done. But hey, Lilith, I don't think you lack the economic resources to make that happen, don't you? 4. Inside the Alliance Center, highlight through a specific bar the number of helps requested in the current day to heal troops, so you won't find yourself having to speed up everything out of the blue because you did not count. This is not a solution for the healing system, just a small improvement that players would enjoy to see alongside one of the previous solutions. Then we had the verification rewards. There is a huge problem with the verification rewards, and almost every other suggestion from the community highlighted this problem. The verification appears often during massive fights, causing the players to lose lots of resources and speed-ups because they are unable to control their troops, which will inevitably get killed by the enemies. A possible solution for this problem is to avoid having 1 second verification countdown and increase the timer, while in combat adding a smarter tool to identify those people that are cheating, for example by checking multi-instancing or checking the IP address. We now concluded the part regarding the war suggestions. Now we will speak about KvK 1. 2 and Light versus Darkness. As I spoke about in this video, card up on the top, there is a huge problem with the Season of Conquest Commanders being available in KvK 3 in some of the matchmakings. I know that this problem is to be solved already because Lilith is reducing the downtime between a KvK and the other, but still in some matchmakings the problem was still present recently. When the oldest kingdom in the bracket hits the 300 days mark, players can start using their new commanders. A possible solution is to just add a constraint, based on which Season of Conquest commanders can be used exclusively during the Season of Conquest, and not when your kingdom reaches 300 days. Said that, we have something to address in regards to the Season of Conquest. In the specific, the Bastion quests. The refresh does not work properly, especially for quests that require the donation of materials. There is a very high probability that refreshing a material donation will make another material donation quest appear, just like it happened in the past with the troop training quest. Here you go. For example, it's the first time Very first time I do that now, I just logged in and you see there was an iron ore quest and now I have a leather quest. The possible solution is a pretty obvious one. Make it so that the refresh is a proper refresh. Materials are a very valuable resource in the game and players are not really motivated to donate them. Just change the quest type after the refresh. Let's now speak about a very important topic: old generation commanders. Old commanders obtainable through gold chests and not only have no use nowadays, and investments have been completely wasted after your kingdom reaches the season of conquest. I am speaking about commanders like Cao Cao, or Julius Caesar, Frederick I, and El Cid, Minamoto, and in some cases even Charles Martel. The shortening of KVK 1, 2 and Light vs Darkness has even decreased the value of those commanders because they will become obsolete quickly. I mean, think about Hannibal Barca or Charlemagne, who uses this commander nowadays. A solution to the issue is not easy to find. Many from the community ask to just give back the amount of universal golden heads spent to expertise these commanders. We understand this not being viable. It will be nice though to find a new role for those commanders in the current meta. We currently don't understand why Strife of the Eight does not feature the support skills, like for Heroic Anthem. Maybe some of those commanders can have a good use. Some commanders also need a revamp, like the mentioned Charlemagne and Hannibal Barca. In particular, Charlemagne is probably the least used legendary commander of all time. Closed this chapter regarding the commanders, let's speak about another hot topic that appeared in hundreds of suggestions that the community submitted to us: the crystal technology. A very high percentage of the community does not accept the crystal technology as it is now, even with the complete revamp that happened the past spring. The problem here is that the crystal technology is seen as a sort of mirage for free-to-play players and low spenders, and it even increased the fighting power gap. Big spenders already have the best commanders and most likely the best equipment. The whole perception of this technology is so bad that many players are either quitting the game or migrating to younger kingdoms to redo KVK 2 and KVK 3, ruining the experience of new players. And this loop keeps going on. Lilith can limit the equipment, can limit the commanders and whatever you'd like for early KVKs, but the reality is that in most cases, people migrating to early KVKs will have the most useful commanders already maxed out, and that is already a big advantage. Generally speaking, there are two possible solutions. One, the easiest path. Remove crystal technology or rework it so that the buffs are not really affecting at least the open field contribution of a player. Some buffs affecting the army capacity, the number of armies you can put on the field, and the damage bonus are just huge deals. Two, make it more free-to-play friendly. There are several ways to achieve this goal. Reduce the amount of crystals needed even more and giving really active players a way to reach a good technology level before the most important fights happen. This may mean the addition of side events to get crystals or increase the crystals that a player can get from barbarians and barbarian forts. Consider also that the current amount of action points that a free-to-play player can gain during the off-season is too low, so a general rethinking of the whole process will be much appreciated. Many players are also asking for a general improvement in new KVK systems. Current KVKs are really time-consuming. A possible solution will be to think of new formats of KVK with smaller maps and a shorter duration, and tech adjusted accordingly. And we have now closed the KVK part of the suggestions. Something really important regarding the Ark of Osiris mode. We have already seen a huge improvement when Lilith added the possibility to practice during weekends. This has been asked for a long time, and we are really happy that finally it is possible. But many kingdoms do not have the possibility to practice in a real game and in a 30 versus 30 scenario. Most of the big alliances will end up practicing 15 versus 15 and playing on half the map, which is not optimal. For this, everyone agrees that it will be amazing to have the possibility to play in friendly games with a team from another alliance from the same kingdom or from another kingdom. This will give everyone the possibility of a real practice period before the tournaments open, especially the possibility to invite to fight other alliances from the same kingdom, so you don't have to collect the 60 players in one single alliance, split the air for titled officers among the two teams, etc. Really, it will make everyone's life much easier. Let's now speak about the overall quality of life in Rise of Kingdoms. General suggestions, the most asked from the players. First, the medal shop. It is a function that becomes obsolete quickly, in the specific when you max out your epic commanders and your Aethelflaed. You don't need anything else. A possible solution is to add a new exclusive commander periodically that can be obtained through this shop, or maybe a new one once a player enters Season of Conquest and has already maxed out Aethelflaed. Another idea will be to allow players to get some gold key commanders instead of Aethelflaed once entered in the Season of Conquest. Second, the resource sellers issue. Several players are buying resources from third-party sellers because it's very convenient and much cheaper compared to the bundles and the VIP shop. Lilith tried to address the problem lately with the resource plunder and assistant limitation, which we spoke about in this video, but it was honestly the worst way to possibly address the problem, which led the almost entirety of the community to protest and most of the player base to dislike this change, which likely did not happen at the end. A fair solution will be to take advantage of the VIP levels to determine the amount of resources that a player can actually send and receive. Many of the sellers use bots, and those accounts most of the time have a very low VIP level. Another solution will be to make use of the City Hall level. The best solution though will be to work on a better detection systems to identify the bot accounts and ban them from the game. Third, the Alliance gifts. Let's not speak about the fact that when you reach level 30 and the treasure of the purple crystal, you are basically getting less rewards compared to level 20 to 30, because you need way more points and the speed up increase is close to 0. Same speech about level 40. Chisgul and Smash Squad have already reached level 40, they're the first alliance to do so, and they said that it isn't really worth it. But let's put this on the side and focus on the real issue. Although it is nice to have a way to thank someone that is actually donating a chest to the alliance, it is horribly tedious to go through every single gift. The Barbarian Fort chests and other generic chests can be claimed all at once with just one click. Why not implementing this function for the bundle chests too? Fourth, we now speak briefly about the lag issues. Briefly because most of the time, especially after the latest improvements, the lag depends on the player's specs, device, internet connection, etc. But despite the effort to reduce the lag from Lilith, it still happens often that the game crashes when there is a huge amount of marches dispatched on the map. We understand this is not an easy problem to address. The game has a very fancy graphic when it comes to a mobile game, and when there are many marches to render on the screen. Crashes may occur, sure, but we also noted that Android users struggle more than iOS users. For this reason, Lilith could help us by clarifying which are the optimal device requirements needed to play this game, and offer maybe a FAQ page with solutions on how to solve the most common problems that may occur when playing the game. Fifth, the VIP points. The amount of daily VIP points given is always the same after you reach 200, and it's way too low. I mean, I am logging consecutively from 1063 days, and I'm still getting 200 points. It will be very nice to increase the amount of daily VIP points basing on the age of the account or consecutive login days, as a way to reward the player's dedication for this game. I mean, come on, 1063 days, that's a lot. Number 6. The Books of Covenant. With the shortening of the pre-season of the Conquest KVKs, it becomes even more crucial for a free-to-play and low spender to reach at least the tier 5 technology and have more even and enjoyable fights, even if you're using tier 4. Unfortunately, the amount of time required to upgrade the castle to level 25 is too high for players that don't spend money into the game. Possible solutions include to increase the drop of books from the Barbarian forts, add in-game events that allow players to get more books, for example in the Past Glory event in the first KVKs, or through a will type of event to make a better use of your gems. All of this making sure to lower the amount of books required to upgrade each level of the castle. Number 7. Multi-march function. Players are more often asking for the possibility to deploy more than one march at the same time from their presets out of the city. A possible improvement will be to add this function in the future with a mechanism similar to how the multi-selection currently works. If you want to know the best way to dispatch your marches on the field, please check this video card up on the top. Number 8. Barbarian Fort Finder. It is often tedious and time-consuming to look for a barbarian fort on the map. Nowadays, forts have a very different value compared to when the game was still named Rise of Civilizations. Just please add a fort search button like we do for the regular barbarians and the resource nodes. Number 9. Gatherers and load capacity optimization. Currently, troops and load capacity for gathering commanders are not really important factors, because once a march finishes the node, it will immediately come back to your city. A great solution will be to add a function similar to what happens when attacking a barbarian or collecting an item on the map like a chest or a rune to block the march where it is once you finished performing your action. For example, here you can use the function hold position after attack. Number 10. Resource sending. Currently, if you want to send resources to another player, it is required to have at least one march slot not in use. It will be great to make it so that a player can send resources to another player without consuming one or more march slots, like for the scouting system. This will make things much easier during a war. Let's now address a couple aspects in regard to the data collection that will help a ton the leadership of every single kingdom out there. First, the kill points and the death points. Currently, kill points are shown basing off every tier of unit killed. Tier 1 units will have a much smaller value compared to tier 5 units. Unfortunately, dead troops are still a flat number. People can easily fake their deaths by suiciding tier 1 units and inflate their death count. A possible solution will be to add death points in the same way kill points have been introduced, so that players that have their tier 4 and tier 5 units dying will have better stats compared to those who kill their lower level tier troops. Second, the stats management. This is a complex game that involves a lot of stuff. One of the aspects that it is the most crucial is the player's management, especially for Imperium kingdoms, like ours. Because of the migration being limited, leaders have to manually collect stats for everyone or buy a scanner service from a third-party provider. This is very time-consuming and focuses the game on aspects that are not really relevant. We all play to fight, not to fill a spreadsheet. Game statistics for every player should be accessible through some kind of API service or an official statistics website. This will really improve a lot the quality of the game experience for those who are currently involved in the process. I am sure that 100% of the players in a leadership position will really appreciate something like that. To conclude this video, I would like to underline that failed updates have been coming up in the last months. The first version of Heroic Anthem was quite a fail, the new March of the Ages is not really appreciated among the community, the healing cap, the new refining system that has only negative sides, etc. The community will be extremely grateful if it is somehow involved in the update process. Content creators can help in this regard, or maybe introducing an in-game voting system for important features. We would really love to cooperate in this sense. Please do involve us. I really hope that Lilith will take some time to answer this community feedback video. Community managers, Leo, Asia, you can reach back to me on Discord as usual, and you watching this video, please keep sending your suggestions in the appropriate channels. The Google form, the suggestion channel on my Discord, so we can keep a track on what the community really wants from this game. This video took a lot of work and data gathering, and for that, it was delayed a little bit. I wanted it to be as complete as possible. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel and activating the bells for notification. It is 100% free and helps me out a ton as a content creator. I will see you on the next one. Ciao!